Hello, welcome back to the Mr. Arsenal podcast for the first show, back transfer daily, not daily, transfer show of the summer. Basically, this, as I say, is this the first one? It's not going to be a daily show, unlike other channels where it's going to be repeating ourselves the same thing day after day after day until something miraculously happens. We are just going to come across every now and then when there's something to talk about that is new. It's all going to revolve around Arsenal. Be it obviously the main one today is Declan Rice. Going to talk about Casado briefly at the end of all this as well. Some of the possible outgoings that have been rumoured as well. Potentially players staying on as well. Again, waiting for confirmation on that. But again, as I say, it's not going to be a daily thing because it's just literally me sitting here repeating myself, and it's just be repetitive. You guys get bored, unsub, disappear. And doesn't do much on any good. And it doesn't do you any good because you're getting the same information. So as I say, we're just going to, whenever there's something new to talk about during the transfer window, be it however long it may take, we'll come back. We'll be up live talking about the main topic of the transfer window concerning Arsenal of that day or week, whatever. But yeah, today we'll start off with the first episode of the summer with the big news, what seems to be Arsenal's number one target. When I say number one target, not just number one target, the first player that Arsenal seem to want to get in first before anyone else, and it is the West Ham midfielder Declan Rice, who's just won the Conference League of West Ham as captain. Just briefly, get a bit of a quick recap on that. Declan Rice, we've been linked with him since the back end of January, the January window. Rumours are circulating we're interested. Arteta really wanted him, really likes him, thinks he's part of our system. But we didn't make any offers to West Ham or Declan in the winter window. But we started reaching out, making contact with the player and his representatives to see if you'll be interested. And what's come from that is his personal terms have been agreed easily. Apparently he's bought into Arteta's. Whatever Arteta's basically sold him, whatever the dream was that Arteta's sold him, he's bought into it. He's ready. He wants to stay in London. This is the main thing that sort of goes in our favour as well. It goes in Arsenal's favour. Is that the main thing he wants? He doesn't in terms of he wants to move, but he wants to. He wants to stay put in London. He doesn't want to uproot his family up the country, another part of the country, or abroad, for example, as Bayern Munich have been again heavily linked with not heavily. In the last week or so, heavily linked with a move for Declan. Nothing materialised according to the British show and David Ornstein. It's just they're interested. And it mainly goes back to Thomas Tuchel, who the former Chelsea manager, when he was at Chelsea, he was a big fan of Declan and would have been bringing him in at Chelsea in the first place. It sort of never materialised. I think that's where the links linger in there. Nothing really apart from that's happened in terms of any talks, bids, nothing like that's happened so far, touch wood. But yes, as I say, all the personal stuff's been dealt with, and then the season ended. And from that, for British show, David Ornstein have been pretty consistent in saying this. In terms of nothing terms, everything's okay, everything's agreed on that side of things. It's just a matter of Arsenal and West Ham coming together and making the bid. And as in coming together, make a bid, agree the fee, in the longevity of how long it's going to take to pay off as well, and off we go. And the main stalling point on getting that bid dealt with in the first place was Wednesday night's Conference League final. Obviously, out of respect to West Ham, and wanted to keep good relations going forward in case we have to go back for any more of their players in the future. Out of respect, we've waited until the final was played and done and dusted. And this is the main thing that's been rammed home from mainly Fabrizio Romano. He's rammed that home for about 2 weeks now since the season ended, and then yesterday morning about 10:30, West Ham owner David Sullivan goes on to Talkshite or Talksport, whatever, if you like it or not. There's your options of what you want to call it. And live on air, basically said Wednesday's game was Declan's last game for West Ham. Apparently, a year ago they agreed to let him go. Like, if he stayed on gave him another year, they would agree to let him go this summer. Gentleman's agreement. As far as David Sullivan's concerned, they're going to be a man of their word and stick with it. And it's just a matter of the bids coming in. And he said, and his words were, as well, in terms of the bids, he now expects the bids to start coming in as of yesterday. As we're talking now, today in the past present, the past tense, sorry. So yeah, and now there's a massive talk that Arsenal are getting ready to table their bid, and their first bid may not be accepted, we don't know yet, but the offer that's going to go in is £92 million. Whatever and West Ham agree, that's fantastic, cool, we move on, and you all become our record transfer fee, by the way, if that does happen. Whatever the price is, but if it's 92 million, well, hey, we consider he's got 1 year left in his contract after the end of this month. Yeah, run with it, just take it and run. But West Ham, the main thing that's been around time, West Ham want the entirety of the entire fee paid up over 2 summer windows. So they want this done, and they want this paid by the summer of 25 at the latest. Which I don't think it'd be a problem, personally. But we'll see. I'll pop into the chat quickly because a few of the beggars already in as well. 1 second. We've got Troy in the chat. We've got Kim going Rice Baby with the Union Jack. And then Tom's popped in and says, breaking news, Leeds are not doing well. When are they ever doing well, Tom, with all due respect? I've seen Declan Rice play many times. People will laugh when I say this, but I honestly think he's one of the best CMs in the world. And we need to strengthen it. If he's, again, Prem proven, he's a London boy as well, born in Kingston. I know he's a Chelsea fan, but they're fucked up. It's their own fault. We're going to capitalise on it, hopefully, touch wood. He's come through at West Ham. Done a fantastic job being captain for the last 2-3 seasons, unofficially, and then officially this year, the full-time captain. When I say unofficial, because obviously Mark Noble was there, and he was technically the club captain, but all but name. But he won't get the minutes. Obviously, Rice was, and so he was the captain. So he's got the leadership. He's proven leadership qualities as well over the years. He's built that up. He's 23, 24, so he's got longevity in his career still. He won't need time to adapt to not just the league, but to London life. He knows a bulk of our team, of our squad, in terms of like Smith Rowe, Ramsdale, Bukayo Saka, Benjamin, White, due to international duties respectively over the last few years. So already he'll already have a good defence, he already knows, and he seems to have a very good relationship with Bukayo, particularly on international duty, as we've seen recently. So again, it all makes sense to go and do it. As I say, like, need that time to set. He just goes, slot in, and hopefully he'll kick on, and he can kick on to be the player he is now, but even better potentially under Arteta and at Arsenal. Touch wood, and we can consider that we can sustain ourselves as not just a title challenge, but in terms of domestically, but a challenge in Europe as well, with someone like Declan, obviously Casado, and amongst other players that we were hoping to get in as well. We've got Mr. Nemeth in the chat, says that new jersey looks pretty lush. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice actually. I will be doing another video, by the way, just to say now. We're doing an upload video where I'll be comparing this shirt with the cheaper version of this shirt, because I've got both, so I may as well now. And basically letting you guys know if it's really worth what's worth your money. Like, in terms of if you're going to buy yourself an Arsenal shirt or a football shirt in general, what's what the differences are in terms of, and obviously the value in money, you're getting your money's worth, etc., etc. Especially now the prices keep going up every year. But we'll get back into that later. Hawkwind saying this will end up being a bid war. I hope not. I really do not hope not. That's the best thing for West Ham, that they get that. But I really hope we just get in. Declan sets it out from the get go as well. When bids start coming in, as I was saying, look, I don't care what bids come in. I just want to go to Arsenal. Accept whatever they give. Please accept it. I only want to go there. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm sorry, but that's where I want to go. And with what he's done over the last few years, out of respect, hopefully they respect his wishes and we can kick on from there now. Because the last thing we need as a club is this particular transfer kicking on over and over again throughout the entire summer, going into our pre-season, and we don't have our main players that we want ready for the new season. Because before you know it, the pre-season will be here. Then the pre-season itself gets in the way. Then you've got the Cup on the 2nd of August. You've got the Community Shield. And then the next week, and then before you even blink, you've got the league starting. Oh, dear. So, yeah, Mr. Bongle's at KFC. He's never injured. That's the point as well, touch wood. That if it does come, that continues, because that's been another mainstay of our midfield recently since Partey's come along. That he's come very injury prone. We just can't have that, really. Mr. Bungle's is on the new deal. The personal terms being negotiated at the moment. But what do you guys think? Give me your thoughts in the chat as well in terms of Declan Rice. Do you think this is going to drag on all summer? Do you think either way, does he come to Arsenal, or do you think he's going to go elsewhere, or be forced to go elsewhere? Yeah, I mean, and whilst doing that, we'll move on to the next bit of transfer news. These sort of shows are going to be very short, so they're not going to be like hour-long, repeating ourselves over and over again. Be quick, short and sweet, in and out, and hopefully it helps the channel. And obviously, people have been asking for transfer shows, so I'm giving you transfer shows, so your best help me out here. Especially with the situation YouTube are putting me in at the moment with bloody what they're doing with my subs. Bastards. Getting to that another time. But yeah, if you are new to the channel anyway, while I'm on there, if you are new to the channel, do subscribe, do smash that like button, and do share the content around. It does massively help. It is massively appreciated as well. But yeah, YouTube are currently screwing me over. I'm not liking it at the moment for the last 2 weeks nearly. Oh dear. As I was saying, Casado. This is an interesting one. This is the one that could potentially drag out all summer, depending on the player more than anything. Because again, massively linked to us. We almost had him in the winter window, the back end. If all Brighton had to do was accept the bid that we were offering at the time, and he would have been an Arsenal player in January. We wouldn't have gone and got Jorginho. But no, they dug the heels in, and then we ended up with Jorginho. No disrespect to him. Obviously, he did do a good job for us in the 6 months we did play. But Casado's long term, and I'd rather spend the money on Casado. If we're going to do that, we might as well do it now. Bit of a sticking point here, apparently. Chelsea are trying to get themselves involved and do what they've been doing under the new ownership for the last 12 months and go, well, Arsenal want a player. We want him as well. Know what we'll do? We're going to outbid them and create a bidding war. Behave yourself, Stefan. Your subs. Technically, the poll doesn't really count because please don't unsub. Please don't, because again, the YouTube thing going on at the moment, it's causing me aggro. If you unsub, it's going to cause more aggro, and numbers going to be absolutely. Even if you resub, it causes aggro for some reason. But YouTube needs to sort that out. Please, YouTube. Oh dear. But anyway, back to Casado. And I've seen certain people. He's probably watching now. I don't know if he's commenting in the chat or not. But again, someone we really want. He wanted to come to us. I don't see there'd be a problem. But in terms of him wanting to come and us eventually getting him, the problem is it seems like it's going to drag out for the majority of the fucking summer by the looks of it, because Chelsea, as I say, want to get involved and do the thing they did last year and last winter. Oh, Arsenal want to play. We'll make ourselves interested. We'll get in a bidding war with them, and eventually we'll fuck ourselves both ourselves and Arsenal over, and then end up somewhere else. I've got no spanner on. I pretty much swear everyone's got a spanner nowadays, but I'll still that now in a sec. I mean, yeah. And then, as I say, that's the only thing. Like they're going to again, this fees in the book because Brighton don't have to sell, because in amongst the bid that we made in the winter window, he's recently entered on a new contract because he didn't get his move. But they expect Deserby's already kind of said that he expects, like McAllister, Casado to be leaving in the summer anyway, no matter what. So the new contract was just a sort of a sweetener sort of thing, just to buy him over the last few months of the season. But apparently there's a little gentleman's agreement again, gentleman's agreement where if a Champions League club were to come in with a substantial offer that he wants to go to, they would accept. And I know when I mentioned Chelsea, they're not in Champions League, not in Europe at all. But you know, we've seen it under Todd Bowley for the last 12 months now, what he's all about. And going by the Neymar rumours, nothing's changing under Pochettino. So fantastic. Well, hey, season number 2 of disaster at Chelsea. Hopefully, got Chelsea think they can convince Casado to bite the bullet for another season, potentially another season. With no European football whatsoever. And as I say, potentially hope that they get back into Europe some way or another. Again, that's not going to be a guarantee. But they think they can throw money in and everything will be okay. But we'll see. As I say, I personally, I know someone, I don't know if he's commenting in the chat or not, but I do know there's someone that thinks it's the end of the world. He's going to Chelsea, he's done and dusted. No, just no. We are the Arsenal, for example. Just put it out there. We are the Arsenal. We are in European football, not just European football. We are in Champions League, so we already hit the criteria that Brighton put in place in their little agreement they've had with Casado. So, am I that concerned that it's not going to happen? No, it's just going to drag out because Chelsea are Chelsea and they're going to get themselves involved and provide a bidding war, which is what Brighton can afford to do, because obviously with the new contract, even though they expect him to go, they don't have to sell straight away in the window, because the longer it takes, etc., it could cause problems for Brighton in terms of value for money. We've got Spencer in the chat. Says, good afternoon, Ryan. How you doing, my friend? Spanner will appear. I'm literally multitasking, guys. I've literally got multiple tabs here. I swear I gave him one before, but I'll do it again. You could be managing moderator. There you go. Spencer as well. Whilst I'm there, I might as well give you one as well. There you go. Everyone's happy. Back to the show, please. Also, Craig in the chat. How you doing, Craig? Oh dear, how you doing, Craig? We did touch on it early on in this show. It's gonna be a short one again. I will say this: these for everyone that's coming in now. These aren't going to be everyday daily social, unless we get new information tomorrow or over the weekend. Then it's going to be the next show will be when we get more information, either bids being made and accepted or bids being made and rejected. Then we'll come back and talk about it, discuss it a bit more, and go from there. See how that goes. I think AP asked a second comment. There you go. Hawkwind's happy. There you go. Troy's happy. But yeah, basically, we have touched on the Declan thing in terms of my thoughts on it. What the information we've had since the winter window going into now, go through that old timeline and where we're currently at now. The rumours of a £92 million bid. And where that leaves us, basically, now that obviously their final was over, they won it. They did their parade yesterday, but Sullivan basically confirmed what Fabrizio was saying all along in terms of, for the last 2 weeks, I mean, in terms of Arsenal were waiting out of respect to West Ham until after Wednesday's final, and that he expected the bids to start coming in from yesterday onwards. And then obviously with that, there's then more the rumours, as I say, coming out that the opening bid, accepted or not, is going to be around £92 million. And with that, the information of coming from the other side of West Ham, they want it done they want it all paid up by summer of 2025. So, that's on that. We don't touch on Casado. I personally, as I was saying before, as you was coming in, Craig, I personally don't think Casado's going to be an issue. In terms of him coming to us eventually, not going to be an issue because we meet the criteria that Brighton have put in place in their agreement with Casado in the first place. We're a Champions League club. We want him. He wants to come to us. Unlike Chelsea, who are not in Europe at all, and he doesn't really want to. Why would he want to leave? If he's going to leave Brighton, they're in Europa League anyway. Why would he leave them to go back into the position he was last season with Brighton, not in Europe, for Chelsea? Aside from the money, Stefan, just a Judas. We'll get onto that in a second. We'll get onto that near the end as well. So my thoughts on that as well. I don't know how you're going to react to my thoughts on the new Tottenham manager, but I'm happy, put it that way, that he's gone there because he's retired from winning trophies. Yay! No matter what he says. So yeah, I'm genuinely, in terms of them two in particular, confident that they will be done. One of them will be done. I think obviously it seems like Arsenal want to get Declan done first because these will be the big. In terms of the two, they're both going to be big prices, but in terms of the two, he's going to demand a bigger fee in terms of transfer itself, and not including everything else that comes with it. They want to get that done ASAP, and as soon as they announce that, they want to get it done so soon, so then they can say their goodbyes to Granit. Because it seems like the Granit Xhaka moving on to Leverkusen is on hold until we get Declan in, basically, or Casado. But it looks like we want to get Declan in first, so get Declan in. So the second we announce Declan, within a day or two, it'll be announced that Granit's on his way out, basically, and yeah, then we can move on, and we don't have a fan base panicking. Oh, we've got rid of Granit, we ain't got a replacement in yet. It's the end of the world. So there's that, and then obviously Casado, it looks like Casado's going to be the second. Not second signing, but obviously in terms of midfielder, second midfielder to bring in. Which again, I don't think will be the problem. It's just going to be a bit of a long-winded one into probably first half of the first two pre-season games. So was it we've got Nuremberg and then the MLS up, and around the MLS All-Stars / Man United game, I think we'll get Casado in by then. Personally, I might be wrong. Don't hold me to that. I don't know that much information just yet, but as my honest guess on that. Also, in terms of Arsenal transfer news, in terms of incomings, no players been named, but apparently Arsenal are looking to go and get another forward, a forward, winger, right winger, to be back up to Saka, and a right back. I don't know what that means. Benjamin's going to be kept at right back and moved on, or he's going to be moved to centre back again, or whatever, or an inverted sort of thing, back and forth sort of thing throughout the season, or it means Tomiyasu's time's up basically, because obviously he's constantly freaking injured. Personally, I think it's that in terms of Tomiyasu's too injury prone now. He's getting too many injuries, not getting enough. He's just, as I say, he's not getting enough run of games. He'll get 3 or 4 games in, bang, injured again. It's like when he gets his injuries, they're long-term ones. I think Arteta's realised that he's going to have to be moved on, and we need to go and get someone just as good, if not better, to be the backup or competition, to Benjamin White. So, and one of them, the one player that has been linked was the lad from Real Valladolid, who just been relegated from La Liga, by the way. We were linked to him heavily last summer, nothing materialised in the end. But because they're relegated, it seems that Arsenal and Arteta want to go in again, but we'll see how that plays out. But we are going to, one way or another, go and get another right back in by the looks of it. But they're the areas Arsenal want to address in terms of the midfielders, in terms of obviously Casado and Rice, a right winger, another out-and-out forward, and a right full-back. And in terms of outgoings, Reece Nelson, by the way, it looks like Reece Nelson any day now is going to be announced that he's staying at Arsenal for at least 4 years with an option for 5th. Personally, I mean, it makes sense. Again, he's not. Let's be honest. He's doing it to be a squad player and just get the minutes where he can. And again, this season proved that to be the case. And the season just gone. He hasn't complained about it either. He just got on with it. He's accepted his role. He scored crucial goals at crucial times that in another season would have won us a title. But it is what it is on that. But he just got on with it. He's not complained. He hasn't gone to the media. He hasn't caused an aggro. He's not doing this. He's not doing anything stupid, basically. And Arteta's seeing that, liked it, and him with that, with a new contract. And again, people might think, it took 4 years is too long, or 4 years an option for 5th is too long. Why? Because even the option, 4 years of an option for 5th, if come 12 months' time, things haven't progressed the way he wants, or both him and the club, or just the club wants, he can be moved on with 3 years plus an extra option, a year's option on his contract. He can be moved on, just like Eddie. Last year, I have said it all season. With Eddie Nketiah last year, the only reason we kept him on because we didn't get Champions League. If we'd gotten Champions League, we would have moved him on for free and bought Jesus and another striker in. But we didn't. So instead, we bit the bullet, got Jesus in anyway, bit the bullet with Eddie, gave him a 4-year contract with the option, no, 5-year contract actually gave him. So come this, and with the idea of come this time this year, if things hadn't worked out and things weren't progressing the way Arteta, the club, and the player wanted, or the player just wanted more, weren't getting enough minutes, and he wanted more elsewhere, with 4 years left in his contract, we can demand a decent fee for him. So, hence why that, and I think that's what I said at the time. I weren't complaining. It's like, okay, it makes sense because we're protecting ourselves in terms of not just obviously because of the situation we're in terms of we finished 5th in the Open League, but also we're protecting the assets. So if it didn't work out for us, but we could still get a fee for him instead of losing him for nothing, him going on elsewhere and having a potentially going on to have a thriving career elsewhere. We protected that asset, and we're doing the same thing with Nelson. The only difference with Nelson, there is potential there for him to actually kick on, especially he's going to get more minutes next season than he would have done this season. Because we've got, like it or not, we're going to have to rotate. No matter how deep we go, Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, if we're going to be serious about contending for the league, we'll have to rotate. And Reece, as I say, as long as he stays injury-free, touch wood, he will get them minutes, a lot more minutes than he did this season just gone. The main reason he didn't get more minutes than he would have hoped for this season was because after the Forest game, when he got that brace himself and Saka got taken out, in the World Cup break, he got himself an injury and it sort of carried over for a couple of months, and then, it was just like easing him in. And obviously at one point it was just like, well, we've got next to no competitions left. We'll just give Saka all the minutes and Martinelli all the minutes, and then Trossard came in. Trossard some minutes as well. But he just got on with it. He never, even then, when Trossard came in, he didn't cry, he didn't complain about it publicly or nothing like that. We've got Gary in the chat as well. Got Tom back in the chat. How you doing, guys? Hope you're all keeping well. Got Kim back in the chat as well. How you doing, Kim? But I'm happy with the old Celtic news as well in terms of where he's disappeared to the old manager. But in terms of outgoings, just before we start moving on to my thoughts on the new manager before we back things up, outgoings in terms of there's been in the last 48 hours rumours more than anything that Lazio are interested in bringing Jorginho back to Serie A again with Sarri as obviously the Lazio manager, former Chelsea manager, watched him before, wants to bring back to Italy, Lazio now basically, and where apparently again it's just rumours, nothing concrete confirmed yet, but apparently we are potentially interested in the idea of moving him on with a year left on his contract, because obviously when he signed with us in January it was a year and a half contract, so we could potentially buy him for 12 mil for 6 months and sell him on for 20-25 mil, if that, maybe around about that, with a year left on his contract, maybe a bit more, depending on how much Lazio really want the player. But again, that's more so of a rumour. That's nothing concrete. Aside from that, the Smith Rowe stuff, I said this a few weeks ago in terms of the podcast itself. David Ornstein's already confirmed he's going nowhere. The club don't want to sell him. He doesn't want to go anywhere. And he's working. He was obviously in the last week and a half. He's been in Dubai working hard to get himself ready for the under-21s finals tournament this summer with England. Oh, Tom, behave yourself. Let's not go down that rabbit hole again. We love transfer talk. It's like playing Football Manager in real life, but only one thing comes true. Oh, God. Ever the optimist you are, Colonel. Bloody hell. Colonel also goes on to say, let's get Lavia and Onana. They're both better. Lavia's, again, he's young, raw still. He's only had the one season, really, with Southampton in the Premier League. And not going out playing that again, that's not always his fault. But with us now being back in Championship, we need players that are ready in terms of if they're playing proven, they've got to be 2-3 years of playing in the Prem consistently and have a physical attribute about themselves. I don't know. Onana from Everton all day long. I would have him all day long, along with Casado and Rice. I would have him all day long. Competition as well. This is the main thing. People need to latch on to this idea that we are back in the Champions League, the elite European competition. We're going to rotate, like it or not. The Tuesday, Wednesday team for the Champions League is going to be different midfield-wise most of the time, especially when the big games coming around the corner for the league in that particular weekend, potentially. Then the midweek one. There's going to be little tweaks here and there, so we need to have the players in terms of a Declan, in terms of a Casado, in terms of potentially Onana, if we were interested in Onana, if that was to happen. We need them types of players along with Partey, obviously, as options basically, but not just options, but competition for each other. All keeping each other on their toes, and obviously there's rumours of Smith Rowe also being trained to fill in the void of Granit Xhaka in terms of numbers in midfield, and potentially get more of his minutes back for next season. So that's 5 players there. If we were to get Onana, Declan and Casado in this window, along with then Partey and ESR, that's then 5 players in the battling it out week in, week out, providing competition, keeping each other all on their toes. Knowing if one or two messes up, there's 3 waiting in the wings behind them to take over. And you do need that. You need that at the elite club anyway. But you need it even more when you're getting yourself to be that elite club, back to that level of eliteness. And we had it again. I remember I grew up, and we had in the early 2000s Edu, Gilberto, Vieira, Parla. Because Parla went from being a winger in his younger career and moved into a centre near the end of his career and all that. So Parla. There was someone else that come to me in a minute, but my point is there was competition. We played 4-4-2 then, but it was always competition. The quality of players, even from obviously in terms of Vieira and Gilberto being the first choice two of that 4-4-2 pairing in midfield. Edu and Ray were good enough to keep Vieira and Gilberto's wits about them on their toes, knowing that they both knowing that either of them messed up, Ray and Edu were ready to pounce and take their place basically. And that's what we need to get. That's the thing. That's what we need to get back to. We can't just have a top quality pairing like we've had this season just gone in terms of Xhaka and Partey, and then when it comes to an injury or suspension or whatever, we then have to dip into the other options, and the quality is so far below par compared to the first choice pairings that it's not only does it tell visually, it has an effect on the team regularly. Hence why we had to go and get Jorginho in the winter window, because we didn't get Sailor. We had to get someone in because Arteta and the club knew, with all due respect to Samuel Lokonga, he wasn't good enough in terms of making that step up to fill the void if there was a suspension or an injury to a player, or just for the rotation. He just wasn't making the mark. There's rumours as well in terms of Lokonga that he's going to be shipped out again on loan, potentially to Burnley. Vincent Kompany. Obviously, Vincent Kompany's worked with him before at Anderlecht, got the best out of him at the start of his career. And potentially that could be a viable option. It's getting Premier League minutes under a manager he knows, and a manager that knows him. But my point is, he wasn't good enough to help make that step up when called upon. He weren't doing what was asked of him. Whereas now we do need, not just loan him out, but obviously sort out, get Declan, get Casado in. If Xhaka's going, once Declan's arrived, Xhaka then has to go, because obviously that's what he wants to, that's what he wants to do. But we're doing it, we're stalling on that announcement until we get Declan in first and then Casado afterwards. Then that says it all in terms of the club actually starting to be serious in terms of they're not just letting players go and then waiting the entire summer. Well, we're not ready yet. We're going, right, yeah, you want to go, that's cool. Okay, you can agree, you have your talks, we agree the fee, but out of respect, can you not announce it until we've got our replacement in for Granit? And then Granit's obviously had to agree with that, and clearly that's fantastic. That's the case, fantastic. We got our business done. Well, hey, he moves on. We bring in a Premier League proven player or players in terms of a Casado as well, and then we quick on. But we need about already. We say them three players there. You got Partey, with a Partey, Rice, and Casado. That's three players there, all of the same level of quality in terms of what they bring to the team when called upon. There's not a drop off in quality, basically. My point is, go and get and obviously Smith Rowe. We wait to see that if he fits the mould in that position, in that pivot. But we'll see. If we were going to get a fourth, as I say, that you've then got whoever the first choice pairing from next season's pivot. You've then got three players then waiting in the wings, waiting for you to mess up, because they'll be there ready. And the quality is there, knowing that okay, you've messed up. I'm taking a chance, and by the way, I take my chance. You're going to be waiting. You're going to be waiting in the wings in the process, waiting for months on end, if not for the rest of your career, basically, potentially at Arsenal. Because I'm not going to let this go. It's going to be that mentality. You need that mentality. That's what's done us, not just last season, but the last couple of seasons, in terms of the quality, in terms of what Partey and Xhaka brought, and then the quality, the immediate quality after that. It was so below par, and it done us so many times. Craig saying, if we do get Rice and Casado in a transition team, teams won't get past them, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, in terms of Casado alone, we saw a few weeks ago before the season ended what he did to us at the Emirates. That was his dress rehearsal base to come to us, and he bullied us. He absolutely tore us a new one. To have him and protect him alongside Partey or Declan as well, or Declan. Oh my days! It'll be very reminiscent, in my opinion, of reminiscent. When I say reminiscent, I mean reminiscent, not complete like for like, but it'd be very reminiscent of the Vieira and Petit, Vieira and Gilberto partnership that we had 98 with Vieira and Petit, and the early 2000s when Gilberto came in with Vieira and Gilberto. It'd be very similar. Oh, look what they achieved, especially the Vieira and Gilberto partnership. Oh my days, that was. Oh dear, sorry about that. Really, Nemeth, really, Tom, are we going down that route now? Rolling back the years. But yeah, as I was saying, if we got that, oh my day. Not a matter of if, it's about a matter of when for me, in my opinion. It's a matter of when we get them players in terms of Casado and Rice, respectively. Then you had obviously we've already got Partey. Behave yourself, Chris. We've already got Partey as well. That's 3 quality players, and again, as I say, the drop off doesn't then affect. There's no drop off. That's my point. And the club have realised that with obviously the Congo and when Ainsley was there, Ainsley. Hence why Ainsley's not being renewed. He's like, they were like, back off, go away. You're too much trouble anyway, but you're not good enough anyway. Piss off. And Sambi looks like we either loan him or sell him on, but looks like potentially loaned to Burnley potentially. Oh dear. And as I say, the club are realising the mistakes and they're rectifying it now. But they're also, as I said about Granit, they're sort of putting that on hold in terms of announcing he's gone, and obviously for more Wednesday until we get our replacement. And that's again learning the mistakes again, because we've done that mistake so many times where players want to go, we let them go, we don't get a replacement in straight away, and we spent the entire summer then going chasing someone, chase it, and we get them in at the last minute. But when the player's then not in and inducted himself and got himself ready under the new manager's tactics, adjusted himself to his new teammates, etc., etc. The club are learning, and people need to realise that the club are learning from mistakes in the past, and we are moving, and we ain't messing about. And Liverpool got McAllister. Ooh, he ain't played in the fucking final for Brighton. Hence why that was done so quickly, because he hasn't had to play the fucking final. He wanted to go upgrade to a Champions League club. The only Champions League club that made an offer straight away was Liverpool. But officially, he's not on the books until the 1st of July, but they've got the player ready to go. Tom, don't say that. Don't say that. Never say that. Vishriok. Bloody hell, what are you trying to do to me? Oh dear. Oh dear. In terms of this comment here, in terms of championship specials, whenever Leeds and Ipswich play each other in the season, we'll do it. Well, one way or another, I'll give you the range of them. Give you both of the range so that you can both come on and do a watch along or match previews or whatever you want to do. But mainly in the watch along, you can come on, slag each other off. One of you will be crying, one of you jumping for joy. We are a very own fan zone, but without all the bloody putting you in a van basically in the middle of nowhere and going, react to this team, react to your team playing on TV. If you're old enough to know, you know. Bruce is a legend for Brian Bergkamp. I'll give him that. He did bring in Bergkamp. I mean, not David Dean, but he was a manager. Anyway. I'm going to get into that. It'll be all bloody day. I have nothing on the back of this jersey. This particular one, anyway. Oh, dear. All I've got is Champions League badge. Just because. Leeds Ipswich isn't getting on TV. That's your opinion. Depends on the pictures really when they come out. If you've got match day one, if it's Ipswich versus Leeds, surely that's going to have to be on TV. But we'll see. I got some of days. Oh, God, my days. Up the Ipswich says Nemeth. Got Assassin Eagle in the chat says there's best time for Arsenal to sign. This is the best time. I mean, that's what I meant. This is the best time for Arsenal to sign Declan Rice. Not too young yet, not too old. Yeah, he's put the perfect age bracket for us in terms of his longevity. He comes in now. He's got 6-7+ years of his career. He's not even at his peak of his powers yet. Coming in now, not just for us, but for him, could be taking him to a world-class level, basically, in the next 2 to 3 years. Arsenal would be signing him at the perfect age and also the perfect experience. Yeah, he's got leadership qualities as well, because obviously he's been, as I say, for the last three or 4 years, he has been in all up to obviously this season has been his first season as the official captain of West Ham, but all but that officially, he's been wearing the armband 90% of the time for the last 99% of the time actually for the last 4 seasons. So he's adapted and that's moulded him to the player he is now, and he has become a leader. And again, that's another positive of bringing Declan is you're getting a leader, a ready-made leader that knows the Prem, knows some of our players. Won't need time. I keep saying it earlier. Doesn't need time to slot in or anything and get used to his duties because he knows some of his teammates. So it'll be easier to transition from West Ham to Arsenal in that sense. But yeah, with that, we are going to quickly touch on the news of Tottenham. You know, this is an Arsenal channel, just because I sort of enjoyed the news. But early in the week, Tottenham announced a new manager. It is the former Celtic manager, Ange Postecoglou. I can't pronounce his fucking surname, but yeah, his first name is Ange. I'm going to call him Ange until further notice, until I've probably learned how to pronounce his name, which is going to be not no point of doing in terms of it's a Tottenham manager. He's going to get sacked. But yeah, he is the new manager of Tottenham Hotspur, or head coach. He says manager. They say officially he's branded as head coach, according to Sky and Tottenham and all that. Apart from him, he thinks he's a manager, but that itself spells disaster. He's calling himself the manager. The club and all that have branded him as the head coach officially, and the site and all that. That's a disaster waiting to happen there. Harry Kane is not. If Harry Kane is sticking around, with all due respect to Ange, then he has definitely, it's official, he has no ambition then if he sticks around for Ange at Tottenham. But yeah, I'm not concerned, not in the slightest. And the fact that Sky and the UK media in general have pumped this guy up so badly, what a job he did at Celtic. Look what he did. He started out in Australia, went to the J League, and then look at the job he had to do at Celtic. See, all he do is change it from one tactic to an attacking tactic to suit his system, and off we went. Not much to do, especially when Steven Gerrard threw Rangers under the bus That helped, and I don't care what anyone says that's what helped Ange. Stephen Gerrard pissing off back to the Premier League to manage Aston Villa. That worked out, didn't it? And again, it's with all due respect, I've said this before. It's the SPL. Of course, he's going to look good and what he does in his tactics. It's not a competitive league. The Premier League's a different fucking animal, no matter what club you go to. And in fact, look, I understand he wanted to come and prove himself at an elite level now. He's at some point in his career. Okay, cool. But Tottenham, knowing their history with trophies, you picked Tottenham. Of all the clubs you could have picked, you could have waited for. You went, oh no, Tottenham want me. Okay, I'll go to Tottenham. First one that came calling. That, as I've said, I'm not concerned whatsoever because he's going to be found out. One way or the other, either depending on the fixture list, either start the season at some point in the first half of that season when the fixtures come thick and fast in terms of you might get a run of games where it's playing against the big guns, Arsenal, City, Liverpool, United, Newcastle, pretty much close to each other. That's when he's going to get found out. He is going to get absolutely found out. Tottenham fans are going to, we're with him now. They're going to turn on him. He'll be sacked. They'll be back to where they were in the first place. Start of this process, trying to get a new manager at this time. They'll end up going and getting someone else they're looking at this point. When they're Gales, if he's still available or not, I don't know. They'll try to go back in for him and try and get him. They're going to do what they did with Conte. Oh, they get something. They're bring him in now. And it's just a bit of. It's nothing's going to change. It's literally not going to change. The fact that you've had to wait. What day are we on today? We're on Friday today. Sorry. They've waited 4 days after the announcement to have a sit-down video with Ange, where he's like, we're going to leave no corner unturned, no stone unturned, whatever. We're going to do our best to get this great club winning trophies. Yeah, okay. A team you can be proud of from day one, and we look forward to our first home game. Yeah, we get battered by Arsenal 5-0. I really want that now. I really want the North London derby in the first 2 games of the season, so we can just either go there or they come to us and we just put them in their place and he gets humiliated. Harry Kane starts questioning his life again. But yeah, as I say, I'm not in the slightest concerned of what he's going to do because this is a very competitive league. We've got Arsenal, City, United, Newcastle, Liverpool, Brighton now, Brentford, Villa, Fulham. That's 8 teams I just mentioned there alone that he has to come in and overcome straight from the off anyway. Then you add in, I'm trying to think now who's coming up. Sheffield United potentially going up. Sheffield United, you could expect them to go down, but depending on their window and what they do and what players they bring in, that could be a potential. Again, we know Sheffield United, especially away. Sheffield United away is a tough fixture because their fans are up for it. We saw that, and that's the main reason they did so well in the first season back the last time round. And they struggled so much without the fans in the lockdown season. I can't manage a neighbour, it seems. We'll see. Things will change, hopefully. I mean, coming from, with all due respect, Tom, coming from a Leeds fan, I can't find a manager to manage Leeds United for even a fucking month and get enough results to stay up. It's concerning, but you do you. But much stronger league. Yeah, football might be good, but there's leagues too, as you rightly say, and backing what I say up. The Premier League's far superior to the SPL in terms of strength and depth. It is going to get kin mess, and I'll be surprised if he's not found out by December. And this is a Tottenham side that ain't going to have no European football next season. But hey, what do I know? But with that, we are going to wrap things up, guys. Thanks for coming along. If you're new to the channel again, do smash that like button. Do subscribe to the channel as well. And do, again, guys, regulars and new faces, do share the content around as well, because the more you share, the more new faces we get to see it, and more new faces come to the channel, etc., and build a community up that we really want to build here. Even if YouTube are trying to screw me over at the moment for the last 2 weeks, we still want to build a community and work our way back up, basically, to what it should be. Last question we've got is, Ryan, do you think Arteta doesn't like Tierney because Tierney played for Celtic and Arteta played for Rangers? No. If that was the case, Tierney would have been gone in that first summer base. Well, yeah, he would have been gone that first summer. Arteta would have made a point of bringing in another left back of his quality. I mean, I'm not including Tavares, by the way, because Tavares is a different quality, a different type of left back. Sorry, so he's a wing back. But anyway, even then, but he would have made a point from day one, the first summer window, of bringing in a left back that he would rather have. The fact of the matter is, even when he brought Tavares in, Tierney was his first choice until he got injured, and then obviously Tavares got a few minutes there, and then Tavares showed himself up. And we, again, trying to build an elite club, competition, Tavares wasn't going to provide that, so they moved him out on loan. Brought Zinchenko in, became proven, won the league, knows Arteta and what he wants. Off we went. And obviously no one expected it, but again, Tierney being injured was the downfall. It was down for him this season that when he was eventually fit enough and putting up and sustainably fit for a while. How can I put this? He was a bench warmer still. It was only to the last knockings of the season where he started looking a few minutes here and there. But hey, it is what it is. I don't think there's an issue there in terms of because of what I play for Rangers, you play for Celtic. No, to do that. I think it's the injuries to Tierney since he's been with us that have sort of thrown Arteta over the edge, and he's just like, that's why he went and got Zinchenko, because he needed someone reliable in terms of if Tierney was to be injured, someone reliable to come and debutise, and obviously we've been doing that at the start of last season now. It backfired on Tierney because obviously Zinchenko came in like a raging bull and took his spot basically. But again, I don't see Tierney leaving this summer. I will say that this summer. I think again with the Champions League and the rotation and all that, he'll get more minutes this season. This season coming, touch wood. No. I'm going to leave this shirt plain on the back. But we'll do a Declan Rice welcome to Arsenal video when it does happen. Also with Casado and everyone else. But yeah, with that, we are going to wrap things up, guys. Thanks for coming along. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it, and I haven't bored you all to death. But yeah. In terms of the next transfer show, that will happen when we get some fresh news to talk about here on the channel. Because, again, I don't want to be coming back here and repeating myself to you guys, because then you guys will get bored of it and you just won't come, and it doesn't help the channel in that sense either. But we'll be back tomorrow evening for the Champions League watch-along between Man City and Inter Milan, respectively. Myself, Russ, Tom, and whoever else I'm able to find that's going to be around to join us for that one. Maybe Gary, if he's available. And then on Sunday, the much-awaited return of Mike's Hugh and My quiz is making a comeback this Sunday, the first of the summer. So keep an eye out for that. 7 o'clock UK time on Sunday. Keep an eye out for that. So again, if you haven't already, do subscribe or do spread the word on that as well. And yeah, we'll see you soon. And as always, up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners.